Welcome, Week 15 of the NFL season. The line of scrimmage, cash game DFS with some GPP and some ownership percentages GPP. I'm here with the talented scholar, John Laub, and myself, the old man of fantasy, Emil Kadlec. How's it going, John?
You know, it's been a tough 48 hours. Emil, in a playoff league that I value a lot, I played Derek Carr. I liked the matchup. He was home. I'm watching the game, and he pulls up with the groin. He's out for the day. So even though it's going to be hard. I'm holding out hope, but that hurt me a lot. And then I've been watching my Broncos get smacked all day. Right now, they're 35-13. So I'd rather actually be with you right now and the viewers than watching Denver get killed by Buffalo. But I'm all ready for the DFS. Tomorrow's going to be a better day, but it has been a tough couple days.
Wow, yeah, you just never know about those things when people get.
Oh yeah, injuries.
You can't
I never get mad. I can't get mad. Look, injuries are going to happen in football. It just, you're like, not at the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's annoying. All right, well, let's start with the first view graph. There we are.
Absolutely. All right, this week we're giving you, as always, our three sleepers if you want to save some money on salary. There's some high-priced options on the slate. Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill. If you want those types of players, if you want to put two of them into your lineups this week, you have to find savings. And I'm going to give you three. And the top of the charts is Jalen Hurts. I know people are going to tell you he doesn't have a long track record. He's only played one game. I completely understand that concern. But this is DFS. We are only looking at this week's matchup. Jalen Hurts just went for 106 yards. My friends, that is not an anomaly. I saw it all the time at Oklahoma. We are in a new NFL. From Josh Allen scoring another rushing touchdown today, to Lamar Jackson having over 100 yards rushing the other night, Kyler Murray, who was just stupendous the first 8 weeks of the seasons running the football. This is Jalen Hurts. This is what he can do. We saw Tim Tebow, about a decade ago, Emil? How many playoff teams won because of Tim Tebow late in the season running the football? That's Jalen Hurts, my friends. I've watched this young man play at least 15 times at Oklahoma. I saw him at Alabama. I liked him coming out. I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. He can play. I'm not going to tell you he's Josh Allen yet. Josh Allen's special. Or he's Cam Newton. But Jalen Hurts has that ceiling. It's in the realm of outcomes. He's an underdog on the road against Arizona. They're going to be playing catch-up. Last week, very productive. 17 of 30, 167 yards and a touchdown. Remember, folks, the Eagles don't have a lot of weapons who are productive at wide receiver. If you put it into context, Jalen Hurts played pretty well considering who he's throwing to at wide receiver. The week before, 109 yards and a touchdown throwing. Jalen Hurts here for 5,900. He has the secret sauce, his legs. You have a great floor. He's going to get 40 or 50 yards rushing, bare minimum. There's no question in my mind. He has 100 yards rushing upside. I love him here in this spot. Last week, he scored 23.2 DraftKings points. Jalen Hurts has a really nice floor of 15 points. He's only 5,900. We need about 18 points to earn 3 times salary. If he gets you 70 yards rushing, he gets you a rushing touchdown, you're there. He's going to throw for 150 yards minimum, probably more. The Cardinals are going to score points on the Eagles' defense. I like the little track meet here. And my friends, if you don't think there is a little bit of quarterback competition, both these young men, Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts, played for Oklahoma. They both won the Heisman. There's a little competition here, folks. Don't think that narrative and competition doesn't exist between players. It happens. Both these young men are going to want to outdo the other. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. If you want to get in Derrick Henry and Tyreek Hill, you've got to find some salary cap savings. Jalen Hurts allows you to build lineups with Tyreek Hill and Derrick Henry. I like Hurts here a lot against the Cardinals. Man, J.K. Dobbins. You can see the special skills at times. I saw it at Ohio State. This young man, he was my second-rated rookie coming out. And then I loved him going to Baltimore. The problem was they had Mark Ingram, the veteran. They had Lamar Jackson, who steals goal line carries just like Josh Allen in Buffalo. And you had Gus Edwards. I believe at this point we can say goodbye to Mark Ingram. It looks like we've seen his last years, his last carries in Baltimore. J.K. Dobbins, the eyeball test, Emil, you've seen it. Isn't the eyeball test clearly that J.K. Dobbins is the better running back at this point?
Absolutely. You've got to deal with the issue that the quarterback runs. And Gus Edwards is still going to get the ball a lot. He's experienced. He's the guy who's going to push for the extra couple of yards. He's tough. But obviously Dobbins has that quickness and can catch the ball. So you just have to deal with the fact that it's still a three-headed monster with Ingram not getting a lot anymore. But he's starting to get more touches.
He is the last. Yeah, the last 3 games, 18.5 points, 13 and 13. And here's what's amazing. If you watch the film at Ohio State, my friends, J.K. Dobbins is a good pass receiver. Now, early in the year, he was actually getting the ball thrown to him. He actually has 17 receptions on 22 targets for 103 yards this year. But in the last 2 games, J.K. Dobbins doesn't have a reception. So there is upside there. There is upside equity in the passing game for Dobbins. And you're absolutely right. The problem is Lamar Jackson touching. I don't think Dobbins has that 3-touchdown upside. But he can hit the home run. He can score a 40-yard touchdown on a scamper. I also think if you've been watching the Ravens, that RPO game, Dobbins played at Ohio State with Justin Fields. They mastered the RPO. You saw at times with Jackson and Dobbins on that Monday night game against Cleveland. It is waiting. I'm telling you, Emil, before the end of the season, Dobbins is going to score a 60-yard touchdown on a run-pass option. The defense is going to collapse on Lamar Jackson, and he's going to hand it. He's going to toss it to J.K. Dobbins, and he's gone. Because if he's one-on-one with the cornerback, he's gone, folks. So I like him here for 5,900 against Jacksonville. You have equity in the passing game that he has not earned, and I do think he's the more explosive back. It's just a matter of time. So I like him here. And if you're looking to save with a Derrick Henry, you need some salary cap savings. So I like J.K. Dobbins here. And T.Y. Hilton, Emil. How good is T.Y. Hilton against the Indianapolis Colts? I mean, the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans.
He's unbelievable. His career, he smashes. And I don't know, maybe he was more injured. And it's fascinating. Was he injured? Did we not know it? Was Phillip Rivers not throwing the ball to him? What were the routes? Because all of a sudden, T.Y. Hilton is like a phoenix risen. I mean, the last 3 games, 25.5, 28, 18.1 DraftKings points. He had fallen all the way to 30 on DraftKings. He opened the year at 5,900, plummeted to 3,900. Now, it's interesting because I have him on a dynasty team that I'm in the playoffs. And T.Y. Hilton has smashed for me down the stretch. Now, I lost some depth, so I've been playing T.Y. Hilton. I know it's going to sound crazy, but when you're in these large dynasty leagues, sometimes you just have to keep playing your assets. And I had T.Y. Hilton. I've been playing him all year, and he's led my team into the Final Four here. He's been great lately. He's in another terrific spot against the Houston Texans. He just smashes Houston historically. He's so hot. Phillip Rivers is playing good football, folks. You know, there's limited upside because Phillip Rivers doesn't run the football, and he doesn't really pass that magic 300-yard mark where you get the bonus points on DraftKings. So it's tough with Rivers, very high floor, but he doesn't have that 30-point upside. But T.Y. Hilton does, folks. T.Y. Hilton's playing too well right now. If you want to save money at wide receiver, you want to go Tyreek Hill, David, or Derrick Henry. You need a player like T.Y. Hilton who has a very high ceiling, a very nice floor, who's super hot and a great matchup. I just don't know how the Texans can slow down Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton this week. So those are my three sleepers, the scholar sleepers, if you want to save cash this week. Jalen Hurts, J.K. Dobbins, and T.Y. Hilton, my friends.
Those are good ones. Beautiful. All right, off to the next view graph.
All right, our Fantastic Four that we give you every week. And I'm trying to give you options. I know the question is Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to give you a nice Fantastic Four where you can build around and place those players into your lineups. Here's my Fantastic Four to save you salary this week, and then you can make decisions. If you look here, your salary is only $23 million. You have $5.4 million remaining per player, plus a defense and a tight end you can save at. So I did want to attack this Chiefs and the Saints game. I'm going to give you Alvin Kamara first at 7,400. He's wildly underpriced because of Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was not targeting Alvin Kamara in the passing game. That has limited Kamara's upside the last month. But now we got Drew Brees back in a projected track meet with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know the Saints' defense is good. It's good. But this is Patrick Mahomes, folks. They're going to score points on the other side. So what does that mean? That means that the Saints have got to put points on the board. Game script tells us that New Orleans should be throwing in the fourth quarter. Alvin Kamara was targeted last week, finally, by Taysom Hill 10 times with 7 receptions. In the previous 3 games, Alvin Kamara had only been targeted 6 games by Taysom Hill. We've seen it before with Drew Brees. 14 targets against Green Bay, 9 targets against the Raiders, 10 targets against the Chargers, 8 targets against the Panthers, and 13 targets against the Bears. Drew Brees and Sean Payton are going to get the ball in Alvin Kamara's hands. For 7,400, a home underdog, pass catcher, I'm taking him here.
Also,
what?
Michael Thomas is out. We already know Michael Thomas is not playing.
That's why, Emil, I would normally not do this. But when Michael Thomas is out, Traquan Smith is in a position here to get an increase in targets. Last 2 weeks with Taysom Hill, he's had 12 targets. He's caught 6 passes for 102 yards and a touchdown. 13.5 and 9 points in the last 2 weeks. He's only 3,200.
Ooh.
In what's this over 100? I think it's 53. Let me look for. I think it's the Titans game and this Chiefs game are the two highest over unders. Let's look right here. Let's see here. Chiefs Saints 52.5. And then you have because Matthew Stafford is on, the Lions Titans are 53. I'm getting Traquan Smith with an expected uptick, in my opinion, in targets, in the highest over-under, and Emil, he's almost bare minimum. He's 3,200. That's unbelievable. Wow. We only need 9 points. If he gets 10 targets, or he's more efficient with 8 targets, we're going to get 3 times salary. So I'm okay here taking Alvin Kamara and Traquan Smith for only 10,600. I like that a lot. And that allows you to run it back with a Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, however you want to form your lineup. So I wanted to make sure that I give you really good options for this game. And it changed last night when I found out that Michael Thomas was not going to play. I then started looking at the lineup, started looking at the matchups. I like Traquan Smith here. To me,
and also
the smash
Traquan Smith, GPP-wise, is owned at 2.2%.
Oh, my God. It's a great value, Emil. If he had one of those big days, he hasn't had one yet this year. Now, if you go back in his log book, he can school. He does have one good game against Detroit. I didn't realize this. 54 yards and 2 touchdowns, 21.5 points. He also had a nice game against Las Vegas. 5 receptions for 86 yards on 7 targets. So I like Traquan Smith here at 3.2. I mean, that's a great price, and it opens up a lot of salary. And for 3 times, we're looking for 3 times our value here. That's not impossible. So then, to me, my favorite play on the board is Brandon Ayuk. I love this matchup against Dallas, Emil. Dallas's defense has been bad all year long. I don't think it hasn't shown any improvement against any team that's good in the passing game. And look, at last week they played Cincinnati. It's just falling apart. Brandon Ayuk, the last 4 weeks, Emil, these numbers are crazy for a rookie. 24.9, 20.5, 19.7, 23.1. Oh, my God, in the week before, 20.5. Now, he missed, or the game before that he played. Remember, he missed some games because of COVID. But in the last 5 games that Brandon Ayuk has suited up, he has surpassed 20 points 4 times. And the only time he failed, he got 19.7. Dallas secondary, I just don't think they can stop him. So I love Brandon Ayuk here, and he's only 6,300, and there's no Deebo Samuel. So you're getting the alpha dog in San Francisco in a Kyle Shanahan offense. He's going to target Ayuk in a game against a secondary that can't stop people. I love it.
Sounds pretty attractive.
Very attractive. Now, you could go with Jalen Hurts, but this is cash game. I believe that Kirk Cousins has a higher floor. Now, if you want to go Jalen Hurts, I get it. But I want to give a cash game floor. And here's the difference. Hey, we played Kirk Cousins in our GPP lineup. It didn't work against Tampa Bay. He wasn't awful. He had 18.1 points. But when you're trying to win a GPP, you're looking for that 25 to 30. It didn't work out. But when I looked at the matchup, here's what really set me on this path. In home games, Kirk Cousins averages 25.5 DraftKings points per game. On the road, he's 13.3.
Wow.
This is amazing. At home, Emil, Kirk Cousins is 285 yards a game. On the road, he's 216. At home, his touchdown to interception ratio is 20-7 at home, 7-5 on the road. In his last 3 home games, he has scored 26.5, 30, and 27 DraftKings points. He is so good, and he threw 3 touchdowns in each home game. Emil, for a nice floor with a 20-point ceiling. I love Kirk Cousins in cash games right here. So there you have it, folks. You have your Fantastic Four Sunday slate DFS heroes. I only put on a $23 million salary cap. You can choose to run it back with Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, or you can smash it with Derrick Henry, however you want. Go into our GPP optimizer. See what the GPP optimizer says, how to fill out this lineup. But you have a lot of options on this lineup that you can put together a real nice cash game. And you can go to our website, and we have other great options and articles. What do you think about this Fantastic Four, Emil?
Well, I like it. I like it a lot. By the way, Kirk Cousins, just to know, he's 2.8% owned, so he's fairly low at quarterback if you wanted to consider him in GPP also. That's a pretty low ownership.
Oh, my God, it's a great ownership if you ask me, right?
Yeah, that's really good. And by the way, if you see that logo down below where it says $5 off the rest of season, if you go to footballdiehards.com/LAUB, Laub, you can get that offer. And it includes this ownership percentage, which is a big part of DFS information. Yeah, I like these. These are very attractive. I'm very tempted. I'm ready to start my lineups for tomorrow morning already.
You can load it up with... Look, this is a nice lineup with Tyreek Hill in it or Travis Kelsey. So you can do a lot of nice things because I wanted to give you options to be able to build around this. And I definitely think the Chiefs game is a worthwhile investment in this game.
Fantastic. All right, off to the next slide.
All right, my friends, ladies and gentlemen watching right now, we have so many great DFS articles for you to read, to check out, to help you build around my Fantastic Four. You have Bob Harris, the Hall of Famer, the DFS 3 and out, who he loves, and one player that he doesn't want to put in his lineups this week. Gary Davenport. He looks at the wide receiver cornerback matchups in the shadow nose. Great article. I read it every week, my friends. You have Justin Lanero, DFS, digging in the crates daily. I gave you 3 sleepers. Justin has a bunch of them. I think he has a minimum of 8 every week for you in DFS, digging in the crates daily. And then you have My Scholars, DFS, sheet of knowledge right there. Right now, you have a lineup with my Fantastic Four. You can check out how I'm building around that lineup. It also has another lineup for you in top shelf investments and value plays. I also update it every Sunday morning by 9 p.m. Eastern time, so you can check it out. And then we have Kyle Dvorak, DFS cash game and tournament breakdown. All of those will help you build better lineups and have them centered around my GPP or my Fantastic Four that I just gave you.
Fantastic. And Brady and myself on Sunday morning are doing our live YouTube, which is at youtube/footballdiehards.com. And this week we're going to do it at 9 o'clock in the morning because Brady has other things to do, which means I have to get up and be ready at 7 Mountain Standard Time. But I'm still kind of young, so I can
Emil needs his beauty sleep.
I need sleep. I'm not sure if it's beauty. But anyway. All right, GPP, contrarian time.
All right, my friends. Hey, last week, I invested in the Minnesota-Tampa Bay game, It did not shoot out as I expected, and that happens. But this week, people are going to be in the Chiefs and Saints. There's going to be lots of lineups on the Titans and Detroit. What I decided to do, I wanted to give you a game which I think has potential to shoot out that people are not talking about. Obviously, people like Lamar Jackson. Emil, what's the ownership on Lamar Jackson? Because I think it was really high, right? Is that one really high?
Let us take a quick look here. Number one owned quarterback, 11%.
So I said, I can't go Lamar Jackson. That's just crazy talk. But what's Gardner Minshew? Emil, what's the Gardner Minshew ownership?
1.6%.
My friends, if you're trying to win a GPP, you're not going to do it most likely with Lamar Jackson. So I said, you know what? Let me go on the other side. I'm going to take Gardner Minshew. He's a 13.5-point underdog. Why do I like that? Game script tells me Gardner Minshew is going to be throwing the ball like crazy in the second half. I'll take that. And I went back. Emil, first 2 games of the year, Gardner Minshew scored 21 and 29 DraftKings points against the Colts and the Titans. Then he had a tough game against Miami, but looking back, Miami's a good defense. So, that's not as bad as I thought back in September, right? You look back now, you're like, Miami's tough. The next 2 games, Cincinnati and Houston on the road, my friends. Gardner Minshew had 25 and 24 DraftKings points, followed by 20 against Detroit. So in the first 5 games of the year, Gardner Minshew, in the first 6 games of the year, because if you include Detroit, let me say week 6 Detroit, he had 20. Mm-hmm. In the first 6 games of the year, Gardner Minshew 5 times exceeded 20 points. Then, against Tennessee, he only had 13 in week 14 last week. Tennessee can be tough, but I like him here. Game script and points scored 48 tells me that Gardner Minshew has a very nice floor of 16 points with a ceiling of 25. He's only 5,300, Emil. And what did you say, less than 2% ownership?
Oh, let's go look here. 1.6, correct. Less than 2%.
I mean, he's probably going to be in a shootout playing from behind with Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I love that. I'll take it there. And, of course, if I got the quarterback, I like to run it back on the other side with the other team's running back. So I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins. Now, we didn't mention this. Emil, what's the ownership on Dobbins look like?
Let us go take a look. He is 6.7% owned.
Wow, that's not bad.
Not bad.
If he could blow it up, if he gets like 4 targets, somehow gets in the end zone on a pass catching touchdown, I like that. So we take J.K. Dobbins on the other side. And maybe he sees a continued uptick in touches. So I'll take J.K. Dobbins. Then I said, Emil, I'm going for the gusto. I'm going to go. And I'm going to, if I believe Gardner Minshew is going to put up 290 yards passing or more, and he's going to throw 2 or 3 touchdowns, let me invest in his passing game. Now, DJ Shark has been this change at quarterback with Jake Luton and, who was the other guy? Oh my God, why can't I remember who was playing quarterback before
Glennon?
Also for
Glennon.
Well, yeah, Mike Glennon. That has completely hurt the value, fantasy-wise, of DJ Chark. But if you go back into early in the year, in the first 5 games, DJ Chark had 11.5, 5, 29.5, 12.5, 11.5 fantasy points. DJ Chark with Gardner Minshew is much more of a productive asset in fantasy football. Hey, last year, DJ Chark was awesome with Gardner Minshew. The Ravens have all kinds of problems in the secondary. I just think in a game where it's an advantageous matchup, personnel-wise, with a quarterback that DJ Chark has clicked with, I love the magic here. I think DJ Chark finally gets into the end zone. It's been a while, folks. Let's see, the last time that DJ Chark has not scored since Houston in Week 9, and he exploded against the Texans with 146 yards and a touchdown. So I like DJ Chark here a ton against the Ravens. And then I want to save some salary cap. I'm going Laviska Shenault. In the last 2 games, my friends, Laviska Shenault scored 8.8 and 11.1 DraftKings points. Last week, this was shocking to me. He had 11 targets, Emil.
Wow.
He only had 6 receptions for 49 yards. So he wasn't very efficient and productive with those targets. But I'll take 11 any day of the week. He also seems to get, in each of the last 2 games, he's had a carry. And 2 weeks ago, he had 2 catches. Now, if you watched him at Colorado like I did, and I liked him as a prospect, Laviska Shenault was very dangerous running the football. He's a very interesting player, getting him the ball on jet sweeps. You can line him up in the backfield and even give him a carry or 2 here or there. So I like Laviska Shenault. Also, he's only 3,800. So I'm going to take Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark and hope Gardner Minshew throws for over 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I love it there. And then you know what? I'm just going to go with Mark Andrews. Emil, in good matchups against poor defenses, Mark Andrews is very good. He has a difficult challenge when he faces extraordinarily good matchups. This is a positive matchup for Mark Andrews here. He's also very up and down. He's a great GPP player. 13, 20, 13, 5, 6, 4. 17, 21, 5, 4, 22. Great GPP out there. Right? He's all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
I love him in GPP. So I'm going to hope here that the Ravens get up early. Mark Andrews gets a couple touchdowns early. J.K. Dobbins gets his more touches. He ends up scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns. And in the second half, Gardner Minshew has to throw the ball like crazy. That's my GPP contrarian stack. Now, this is the lowest salary that I've given everyone all year. $25,500,000. You have $6,125,000 remaining. You can go around this with the Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill. You can build around this. Hey, you can even put Travis Kelce in the flex, folks. This is a very high up-end risky play because you're expecting the Ravens to come back from behind. And I get it. They're the Jaguars. They're the Jaguars. But you're in GPP contrarian stack. I like it here, and you can build around it. Put it into our GPP optimizer and see what our optimizer says in GPP tournaments around the Ravens and the Jaguars. What do you think, Emil?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Great ideas. Chark has been down, but we're back to Minshew at quarterback. Shenault's been getting the targets. It's an interesting. By the way, Chark is 3.5% owned, and let me go down and find Laviska is 1.6% owned. So you.
Oh my God, Emil, those are perfect GPP. I mean, if Minshew could throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, that is just an amazing low ownership on Chark and Laviska Shenault.
Yeah, that's pretty darn low. That's a fun one. I'm going to have to throw one of those into one of those 10 centers, I think, just to see what happens. My wonderful low place. Oh, by the way, your favorite team, Denver's now down by 41 to 13. But there's 5 minutes
41
left in the game, so Denver still has hope.
Denver has hope.
Oh, and by the way, earlier you mentioned that Josh Allen rushed for a touchdown. He actually rushed for 2 touchdowns in this game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's rolling.
You know what, Emil? I have to admit that you know what, moving forward, and life, football changes, as always adapts. But man, if you don't get these rushing quarterbacks in fantasy, it changes everything, my friends. When you get last year it was Lamar Jackson. This year it's Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I just looked it up. 33 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 359 yards passing. Oh my God!
And those three for 33 and 2 scores happened. It may have been even the first half or the beginning of the third quarter. I lost track. He hasn't run for a while, which makes sense. You're way up. You don't want to take a risk on your quarterback. Yeah. You're going to win the game. You stop the rushing. But you're right. I think when you and I and the gang here at Football Diehards, start to do our analysis in the spring this 2021, you definitely are going to continue to, you remember back when you didn't want rushing quarterbacks because they'd get hurt, things like that.
Yeah.
And now it's just completely changed. There's like 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks at the top, and pretty much all of them, when you say it, are rushing quarterbacks. It's just becoming the way it is. I spend my February, early March preparing for the next year because we have our magazine drafts, best ball drafts. So I start, and I'm going to have to really analyze taking a running quarterback in the 4th or 5th round and putting them in tiers and saying to myself, I need the last rushing quarterback in my tier. And I'm really starting to think a lot about this. Put the Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. If it's Jalen Hurts, who knows? We have the Kyler Murray saying, here's my 6 rushing quarterbacks. If it's 6, I have to look and think. And say, you know what? If 4 of them are off the board in the 5th round, I've got to take the next guy. Because it makes the entire difference on your fantasy team, man. You just have this. Also, what's interesting is Josh Allen last year. I took him a lot, and I almost stopped taking him because nobody was taking this guy. He was the last running quarterback this last year, off the top of my head, and he's had some bad weeks. He's had some bad weeks, but all in all, for where you could get him in your drafts, fantastic value. Just fantastic value.
Hey, I'll admit, look, I'm always going to admit when I'm wrong. I don't try to be arrogant. I was wrong on Josh Allen. And I'll tell you what I was most wrong on. His completion percentage went up from 58 to 68%. Emil, that's what, of all the things that Josh Allen has done this year, and he's been incredible, to me, the most incredible is his completion percentage. To get a 10% uptick is simply phenomenal, which has led. Why is that so important? It's just not just that he's completing more passes. It's led to more opportunities.
Sure.
They're getting more first downs.
You're trickulating the ball down the field. You're getting first downs, which means you're getting more opportunities.
That's what it is. I thought, wow, to me, and looking at mine, and I watched him at Wyoming. I watched him a long time at Wyoming because I played college fantasy football. And
that's probably the only reason you'd be watching the Mountain West.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my conference.
Yeah. And granted, Wyoming isn't, they're not an elite program. But the point is, to go from 58% to 68%, if you had told me he was going to throw 62%, I would have said, wow. But to literally jump, that to me is coaching and his desire to be better.
Yeah, because
it's the combination.
It's the same, it's what we're looking for as fans and as fantasy players. When there's so many times what's his George? Jeff George. You remember Jeff George?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I remember
He
Jeff
probably
George.
had one of the best arms for 20
Ever.
years. But he couldn't
Yes.
read defenses to save his life. And
Absolutely.
there was an HBO, that HBO special, I forget what it was called. And Chris Carter, he had like 8 fantastic games, Just George did, against when he played for Minnesota. And you watched the HBO, you watched Chris Carter yell over to him from the receiver position to tell him what the defense was. And it worked. He couldn't read defenses. Now, I don't know if he didn't try, but that's what we're looking for as fantasy people. Who is getting better? And when we're in preseason, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, and you have to take chances. But yeah, it's so much fun to watch a guy like Josh Allen progress at a young age and getting better and getting better. Maybe Baker Mayfield, we're seeing a couple things from him. Maybe this guy can actually take the next step. I worry because sometimes I've seen him look so bad. But the last few games, and of course if they use the rushing game, you get ODB back, maybe this guy is going to be worth something, and you can still probably get him next year as a second quarterback. And that, again, is the value point. You look at those rushing quarterbacks you're talking about, and you're going to consider taking a rushing quarterback if there's 6 or 7 of them. If you can get the last one, and you can get them later, you've got the value. You don't always do that in drafts, but I'm babbling. I start talking draft strategy, I can't shut up.
No. Hey, can you imagine if Cam Newton never completed 68% of his passes, how good he would have been? I mean, basically, Cam Newton started. I mean, there was others, Randall Cunningham, Steve Young. There's obviously other great running quarterbacks. But Cam is this generation's, he's the guy who led us into that. But Cam never completed 68% of his passes. I mean, and what Josh Allen has done, and I look back, right? I was looking at some of my teams. If I had drafted Josh Allen ahead of Carson Wentz, oh my God! I mean, right there. And I love Carson Wentz. I thought he was going to be. I really thought I was high on him. It didn't work out. I was wrong right now. But his career isn't over. People who think he's done, that's just crazy. Just hasn't worked out. Let's start over. But the point is, if I had drafted Josh Allen, because he was on the board, I bet you. In every draft that I took Carson Wentz, Josh Allen was on the board. I would bet you almost every draft.
Yeah, he was still down there. And as the preseason, it's funny how, and again, this is another draft strategy thing. People watch other people and they lose their security of their own mind. So they start saying, hey, people aren't taking Josh Allen anymore. It's first week of September. Maybe I'm making a mistake here, and you back away and stop drafting him. And and I probably had too many of him. I had him in a lot of leagues early on, but you got to be confident in what you're doing. You got to believe in yourself. If you make your analysis, don't what's that called? The I forget the name of that. Groupthink. It's called groupthink.
Oh yes, groupthink can hurt you.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Groupthink is bad. I'll tell you what happened. I got lucky in a lot of leagues. I drafted Cam Newton, who was great. And he's been, but he's wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
But in almost all the leagues of Cam Newton, I acquired Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert's been – so actually the two of them have been really good over the course of the year because I rode Newton for the first 4 or 5 weeks. Then he got COVID. Mm-hmm. And then I switched to Herbert, and he's been great.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. That guy's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weirdest. I just got another great player.
Yeah.
Right
I got
when
him
the other
in a couple
one got
leagues, but I didn't get him in enough. Free agency, very vital to win your leagues.
Oh, there's no – look at you and I, we draft. The draft's only one of 3 legs. The draft – lineup decisions. We've all lost and won based on lineup decisions. And then the waiver wire. It is a 3-legged, you can have the best draft. But if you don't make good lineup decisions and if you don't pick up off the waiver wire, you're not going to win it.
Yeah.
You're not going to win
things
it.
Change. Things change, and
Yeah.
people get hurt. You got to be working the wire. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Well, fantastic. I can't wait to put some of these lineups in. And, boy, it's going to be fun. Oh, let's see if we got any questions. I didn't even ask for any questions. We probably didn't get any. But, yeah, so I think we've got them all. Swift. Do you think Swift's going to be playable this week from what you've heard?
I do. With Matthew Stafford, I feel okay. Because here's the thing. Like, Swift's an incredible pass catcher. I had him as the best pass catcher in the draft coming out. So even if the game script goes away from them, it's more of coaching malfeasance that they're not giving Swift the ball more. But Swift in the fourth quarter, if I'm the coaching staff, and I'm not, I'm keeping Swift in the game because he's great.
He's going to catch the ball.
He's great.
Well, he's been hurt. He's been sick.
Yeah.
And I think he's feeling pretty good this week. He's 6,400 DraftKings, 6,700 FanDuel, and he's 3.1% owned, depending on if you're going to cash or GPP.
Oh,
so
that's
he's a tempting
nice guy.
6,400. I don't know.
Well, no, you know what? In our GPP contrarian stack, at that low ownership, in the highest over-under, Emil, that's not a bad option.
Yeah, highest over-under.
Because you're looking at a 53.5 over-under.
That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. And if he could ever get 7 targets, which the game script says he should, that's assuming rational coaching.
Are we afraid of Tennessee in Tennessee to actually play defense this week?
No, I'm not. Tennessee's defense isn't good. They're not that good, Emil.
I like the coach, and I think the coach can pull things out of his hat. But anyway, I just threw that one out as something that's
no, I like that. And he's not that high priced.
Yeah, 6,400. All right, sir. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'll just, everyone have a happy holiday season. Christmas is next Friday? And then we'll see you.
Thursday or Friday. I think it's Thursday. Thursday the 24th.
So you're right, Thursday. So we will see you the day after Christmas or 2 days after Christmas.
Sounds fantastic. Good luck, everyone. Thanks, John. Excellent inputs. Can't wait to get these lineups in. Good luck Sunday. And go Detroit for the next 2 minutes.